My name is Robert Allsop. I'm currently I'm the Vice President of Lean for Wesco International, based here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Prior to that, I worked for a company called Watts Water Technologies up in Massachusetts, and that's where my first introduction, my first meetings were with Pete and Dave and Win Enterprises. I would first like to say, as much as we always want to quantify results, I would first like to say that the biggest outcome that I feel as though I've had and my company's had working with Win Enterprises was more in terms of figuring it out, really helping us to understand what that roadmap, what that journey looks like, and understanding those next few steps to get us there. Like I would imagine most companies, most people, when they first really start seriously on their lean journey, their continuous improvement journey, you kind of say, okay, well, there's lots of things here, lots of stuff that we recognize need to be addressed, gives us lots of opportunities. But basically, where do we start? So first and foremost, one of the biggest help that I got from working with Win Enterprises was helping me to kind of figure out those first few steps on that lean journey. Over the course of time then is through engagement, and our engagement includes, really just simple educational events, coming in, working with my team to do some planning workshops, to do some kind of education workshops around the tools of lean, actually facilitating on Kaizens for us, where we recognized that we didn't have the skill sets to take on the complexity of the Kaizen, to come in and provide those facilitation skills. And also really on the other end of the spectrum is working with us to drive and work through the goal deployment process, whether you call it the Hoshin-Kanri process, the strategy deployment, goal deployment process, goal setting process, but really to work through that. When I say work through that, one of the things that I want to emphasize, it's also the educational side. It's not just a case of executing the process. It's it's going through the learning process as a course of practicing and doing. It's also leaving behind the knowledge and that higher level of education. So then that on a local basis, we are able then to sustain the outcome of that Kaizen event or that improvement activity, and understand within ourselves then how to go and replicate that. So we don't always need to look back and depend on Win Enterprises or any consultants for that matter to then continue to continue to practice. From our experience, I mean, some of the results that we've achieved. So Win Enterprises led us through goal deployment, our first cycle of goal deployment, and we were able to then as a result of that, to identify not just on our 3-year financial breakthrough plan, but in terms of our first year annual steps, we were able to identify improvement targets and over the course of time to realize improvement targets that really helped to improve our profitability by 200 base points and reduce our working capital. If I remember right, part of our journey was reduce our working capital in the region of about 10% over the course of 1 year of activities. And just as importantly is to improve our customer satisfaction. We were able to improve our on-time delivery rates, somewhere in the region of about 17%, that translated into a superior customer satisfaction and therefore, helped to support the growth of the business. With being engaged with you, Pete, and Dave, and the rest of your team, and Win Enterprises in general, I always feel that it's an engagement where you guys come fully committed to helping us achieve our goals, as though they become your goals. So that's something that I've never experienced in my working with other consultants in the past. And I always enjoy the fact that you come in and based on your very rapid assessment, you're able to then engage with either myself or my team at the right level, so that it doesn't come across as, you know, this very highly educated, highly theoretical kind of support. It comes across as at a level where people can understand, they can relate it to their experiences, their real situation, and they learn from it, and they enjoy it. I mean, one thing that's always been consistent with the feedback I've received from anybody that's been engaged with your team is that it's been a very enjoyable, positive experience for them. And that's meaningful, because we know that, you know, part of the success factors of any lean transformation is for people to have that passion, to really want to have that dedication and that persistence for this to work. And, you know, that passion needs to be nurtured. And I think, Win Enterprises does an excellent job of nurturing that passion.